remains undefeated after Saturday night. He was never seriously threatened by Alexander Brand in a light heavyweight championship contest on Saturday. Ward is now in position for a long-anticipated matchup with unified light heavyweight champ Sergey Kovalev. That fight has already been penciled in for November 19th in Las Vegas. This man to my left was ringside for this fight, color commentator, as always, doing your thing. Max, tell us, so who should Ward fight next?
He's fighting exactly who he should, Sergey Kovalev.
Okay.
Let me just explain to everyone quickly who Andre Ward is. You know, when Floyd Mayweather was the best pound for pound and he and Manny Pacquiao were having that debate and eventually it was settled, Andre Ward was establishing himself as the second best pound for pound fighter in the world. He hasn't lost a fight, amateur or pro, since he was 13. Last time he lost a fight, he was a 13-year-old amateur. Went through the rest of his amateur career undefeated, including an Olympic gold medal. That's significant because in the amateurs, you can't duck people. Whoever's left at the end of the tournament, that's the guy you have to fight when the dust clears if you're in the winner's circle, and so is that guy. So he beat everyone in the world. Then as a pro, he was in something called the Super 6 tournament. Same thing, couldn't duck anyone, just had to fight the best in the world, and was crowned undisputed super middleweight champion. Then he had a period of inactivity where, because of promotional issues, he barely fought, and when he did fight, it wasn't against top opposition. While this is happening, in the division right above him, Sergey Kovalev was establishing himself as by far the best light heavyweight in the world. I mean, he was knocking everyone stiff. And so now we have a collision course between Andre Ward, the heir apparent to Floyd Mayweather's pound-for-pound title, and a bigger, badder, maybe light heavyweight puncher in Sergey Kovalev. It's great not only because of the boxer versus puncher theme, etc., but it's the rare fight in boxing, Stephen A., where it's a 50-50 type fight. Half the boxing world will believe Ward win, half will believe Kovalev win, and even those who believe Kovalev will win, they'll be like, well, I'm kind of on the fence, but I guess Kovalev. And same thing with Ward. It's my favorite kind of matchup in boxing, and the winner probably going to be considered the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite because first of all, let me be very, very clear. I've always been a fan of Andre Ward. We've spoken on several occasions. He's a big-time fighter. When Floyd was #1 pound for pound, undisputably so, Ward was #2. Ward is that elite. Hasn't lost a fight in 19 years. Max, obviously, the boxing aficionado that he is, he's absolutely right. He knows what he's talking about. Here's the thing. Ward has 15 knockouts in his 30 fights. Kovalev is a knockout artist. And Ward is moving up to fight Kovalev. It's not like Kovalev is the knockout artist who's moving up to fight the bigger Ward who has 15 knockouts. It's Ward who has suspect knockout power, moving up to fight the knockout artist, which says to me that if he wins the fight, he's going to win by decision. He's going to win because he's a boxer, and it's the boxer fighting the puncher. And I'm one of those guys who prefers the boxer to be the bigger guy and the puncher to be the one coming up in weight to fight the knockout.
I love that. Let me tell you, I do. Let me tell you the problem with that.
That's why I prefer for Ward. I wish Ward was fighting Triple G.
Well, eventually, I think you're okay.
That's where I'm at. I
like what you said. Eventually, I think that's the fight you get. If Ward wins this fight and Triple G keeps... Real super fights can't be promoted into existence. They happen when the dust settles who's left standing in an era. Ali and Frazier, Leonard and Hagler, Pacquiao and Mayweather. Dust settles, those guys are left standing. That's the super fight. Maybe eventually you get Ward and Triple G. Let me tell you the problem, as I see it, with your preference for the larger guy to be the boxer.
Okay.
When the bigger guy is also the better technical fighter, he almost always wins. It's really tough for the little puncher to beat the big... Now, occasionally, Roberto Duran can pull it off, something like that. But generally, if the bigger guy also is technically better, good luck. We saw it with Pacquiao and Mayweather. To me, Pacquiao and Mayweather would have been more interesting if Pacquiao was the naturally larger guy, and that strength could offset Mayweather's
But Pacquiao
boxing.
was the naturally smaller guy that was knocking people out.
Yeah.
Hearns was the naturally smaller guy against Hagler. Even though Hagler was knocking people out, Hearns was the hitman for a reason. He'd put you to sleep. Just ask Roberto Duran, whose head he turned 180 before he fell face first on the canvas. I mean, I just prefer the smaller guys moving up to be the ones as knockout artists, as opposed to it being the other way around.
I know you love your boxing, and you pay close attention. I hear who knows about boxing. You're an actual boxing guy. Ward Kovalev, Who do you like?
I like Ward by decision.
But do you think it's a difficult fight to call?
I think it's a difficult fight to call. I think that Kovalev can put anybody to sleep if he catches them right.
Now, Ward Triple G, who do you like?
Ward.
Right, see? You say that
Ward.
with more confidence.
I
so
say
to
that with
me,
much more
so
confidence.
to me,
Ward.
Kovalev is actually at this moment more interesting because you don't know who's going to win.
I guess what I'm saying is I'm looking for Kovalev for a knockout. I'm looking for Ward to survive and win.
Right.
Whereas I want, when you're moving up in weight, I don't want to see a guy that's in there to survive for 12
Mayweather
rounds.
beats everyone on points. Didn't seem to be a problem.
I didn't like it, though.
Coming up.
I want to say this respectfully because I don't want to seem like I'm disrespecting Stephen A. Smith on basketball because I respect you. But boy, are you wrong about this.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, Kevin Durant, a villain? Because, look, when LeBron James went to Miami, he's a villain. Why? Because he wanted to go play with his best friends on South Beach and win championships. That makes him a villain. Kevin Durant going to Golden State, he's a villain. Why? Because he sees a bunch of unselfish players and wants to play in a system where he doesn't have to worry about who takes the last shot and egos and stuff. He could just fit into a system that makes him a villain. Look, you talk about the fact that it ruined this upcoming NBA season. The truth is, we all knew what was going to happen last season. We knew it was Cleveland and Golden State from day one. We could pay lip service.
That's not true.
Who did you think was going to be knocked out Cleveland or Golden State?
You actually thought that San Antonio, you were waiting for the matchup between San Antonio and Golden State. Wait a minute.
They were going to go out, though, San Antonio.
And you were also waiting for OKC. You were waiting for OKC because
was a wild card.
Let's
put it this way.
This is right. You were waiting for that.
The Spurs were a cut above, but you knew they were going to lose to Golden State. I grant you, there was at least a wild card in the West. OKC was a wild card. You figure the Warriors to beat them, there's no wild card right now. As long as everyone's healthy, we already know what the finals are going to be. There are many seasons throughout NBA history like that. That's the nature of basketball. You can pretty easily determine in the beginning of the season the super teams. Sometimes there's only one in each conference, and you know what the finals are going to be ahead of time. Very seldom is the apple cart upset in that case. So given that's the way the NBA works, you don't want to see this team? Like, I get what you're saying. You already know what the finals are going to be. But don't you want to see something that you may never have seen before? You may never see again?
Apologize for interjecting. I want to explain that.
Yeah.
When the Lakers and the Boston Celtics were dominating the NBA, you knew the Lakers were in the West. Houston would interrupt it occasionally or whatever, but you knew L.A. What you had in the East, however, you had Jordan, but you had Isaiah and the Pistons. You had Bird and McHale before that.
Philly would kind of get in there sometimes.
Philly got in the mix. You see what I'm saying? And then even when Jordan and them were winning championships, the Knicks with Ewing and Oakley and those boys, because of the rough house, because of the rough house tactics and what the NBA allowed, you thought they had a chance, and then Jordan just ruined you. You thought Indiana, you had a chance. I'm sorry, Cleveland at the time, Larry Nance, Mark Price, Brad Daugherty, Greg Elon. I'm just saying, you saw all of this. What I'm saying to you is that you used the word wild card. One existed. You know why? Because at least in one conference, there was some degree of suspense. So when we looked at Kevin Durant, we said, okay, what if he goes to the Knicks? What if he goes to Miami? Then he could possibly be going up against LeBron, and that would at least make one conference intriguing. The fact of the matter is right now you have a problem because both conferences appear to have a foregone conclusion because of the move. And villainous, understand what the definition of villain in sports is. It's when you have a potpourri of individuals who are veered against you because of the decisions that you have made. That's all it is. It doesn't mean that Kevin Durant is a despicable person or anything like that. It just means that people are upset because they're like, damn, you messed up. You went to the team that beat you, and now you just completely disrupted the power structure. There's no suspense. That's all we're saying here. That's all.
During Jordan's run with the Bulls, any kind of sense that there could have been a wild card out of the East was a complete illusion. You just said it, Stephen A. Smith. I'm surprised at you. You just said the names Mark Price and Brad Daugherty like they had a chance against Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, and then later Dennis Rodman and Tony Kukoc.
Let me tell you why you're wrong. Let me tell you why you're wrong. Let me tell you why you're wrong. You're lying, and I'm going to tell you how you're lying. Because back at that time, Jordan hadn't won yet. Scottie Pippen didn't even have his migraine.
After the first one.
He didn't even have his migraine headache yet. So when Brad Daugherty and Mark Price and all, yes, Cleveland was perceived as having a chance. After they won the title, the Knicks, they were perceived as having a chance.
No. I'm not talking about the first. I'm not talking about after the Bulls won the first time,
The title.
the title.
No. You talking about
It
after
was
that.
a wrap. I'm saying
Yes,
the Warriors
sure,
already won one.
sure.
Cleveland, the Warriors in Cleveland
I-
have been trading titles the last 2 years.
I can tell you right now.
No
because
wild
I can
card
tell you
existed
right now,
back then,
I can
really?
tell you right now, even after Jordan won the title, after he won 3, everyone felt, or 2 rather, a lot of people felt like, yo, because of the roughhouse tactics that was still allowed with Mason and Oakley and Ewing
You know why?
and
You know why?
Harper and Starks and the crew, the Knicks had a chance.
Because you and me are Knicks fans, and we drank the Kool-Aid.
But there were people-
we had no shot.
I
to
When
just
they
make
tell
can't
you what
see
happened
you
to
so
them.
sad about the NBA. It's like a kid who found out Santa isn't real. Last year you were so
yeah,
fired
let me just
up.
say this.
No, we have to go to break.
Okay.
Go.
All right.
Okay,
Sorry, guys.
Go
we'll
ahead.
do it. Okay,
Go ahead.
Here's the thing. If you know the preconceived, like it's already going to be the finals, Cleveland versus Golden State. In that case, which I agree is the case, and it's sometimes the case in NBA, at least make those 2 teams as amazing as
We gotta
possible
go.
so we get the super